Welcome to the 21st episode of Rhythm for All. I'm Anirudh Venkatesh, and this week we are going to be looking at movement. So I haven't brought this up yet, I guess, but rhythm is very much tied to our sense of movement. In fact, I can't help but move when I'm doing something related to rhythm. So, how do we begin to explore this dimension of time, of rhythm, of movement? One way would be to just use hands. We can use our limbs. Dancing would be one way, but short of that, if you're sitting or standing, up to you, you can just use your hands. So we have done that in the past a little, but not in a very focused way. So today we're just going to be doing that. So no instruments here today. The only instrument I have is my body. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to use different actions just with our hands. So one action is a clap. Easy enough. Now we have variations on that. We can do fingers, so that might not sound as loud, but it is a different action. So something like, you see I'm just using my little finger here. Yeah. So I'm just doing this. I could also do this, just ring finger, middle finger, index finger, thumb. There are a lot of possibilities. There's one more possibility, in fact, which is this. I call it the reverse clap, right? So we have the forward clap, the reverse clap. We have our fingers. So using just these basic actions, you can sequence them to form a cycle of sorts, a time cycle. So in the Indian context, it's called tal or talam. What it is basically a kind of repeating set of actions to signify a kind of cycle, a kind of loop, you could say. So one very common tal that is used is called Adithalam, and that is a clap, little finger, ring finger, middle finger, a clap again, the reverse clap, a clap, and a reverse clap. So once again, clap, little finger, ring finger, middle finger, clap, reverse clap, clap, reverse clap, and we're back. So this repeats. If I were to do this faster, it would be something like this. Okay, so those are 8 different actions. They're not unique in the sense that the claps happen multiple times, the reverse claps happen 2 times, in fact. That's all right. It's about how within the cycle you have these bunch of different actions, you have these different sections, right? This particular tal, for example, has 3 sections. You might think 3, but weren't there 8 actions? Yes, we're grouping them into 3 sections. One section, I'm not getting into the technical names now, but one section would just be the clap and the 3 fingers. That's one section. The next section would be that, and the section after that is that once again. So we have 3 sections. So this is one kind of a grouping for actions that we can do. Now, why do we do this? It's easy to think in terms of actions rather than having to count, right? Because finally of course, counting is good and all, but you can get a much more intuitive sense of what you're doing with your sense of movement. So if I have just, I could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and within that I could do takadimi tam dimi tadim ka tam takadimi tam takadimi tam. I could do something like that. But what we can do instead is we let our body become our metronome, right? So I can keep talking while this happens, and now I always, in a sense, have an idea of where I am within this time cycle. So I'm at 1 here, and now maybe I'm going to 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1. So I don't have to think too much about the numbers. I can just focus on the actions, and if I can even imagine these actions, that's even better. It makes it even simpler. Okay, so how do we practice this? It's simple. For now, you can just use maybe an easier version of what we did. You can just do 4 of those actions. So that would be a clap, little finger, ring finger, middle finger, and just continue that indefinitely until you get tired. So yeah, just go on with it and make this your metronome. You don't need to think too much about which number you're on or something like that. You just need to get this started. Let your body be the metronome. Do not interfere too much with the tempo, because your body is pretty good at maintaining tempo. And then you can begin to do things within this. Takadimi tam, tam takadimi tam, tam takadimi tam. Right? You can use Salkattu, you can use any other system that you want, and you can create rhythmic patterns within this kind of a loop. And as we will see in the coming weeks, we can even use this to create patterns that take a certain amount of time. So when I want to create a certain length of pattern, and I want the pattern to lead into a certain section at a certain point of time, I could of course count and calculate, and that's one way of doing it. But if I have this happening in the background, if my body is doing it for me, if I'm moving with the beat, then I don't need to keep track so much of calculations. Instead, I could just intuitively understand how big my pattern is and how it's going to fit within my actions, right? So this gives an excellent framework. Our hands, this is one way that I know of. Maybe there are other ways as well, but just moving gives an excellent framework for grounding us within the time cycle. So I hope you have fun with that, and I shall see you next time. Until then, have a great week, and even after that, have a great week. But have a great week, and see you next time. Bye bye.